afternoon, everyone. This is our regular meeting of May 12th, 2025. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Thank you, Council President. Councilwoman Banks.
Present.
Councilman Brightwell. Here. Councilman Cruz. Councilwoman Haynes.
Present.
Council Pro Tem Hicks.
Here.
Councilwoman Hogue.
Here.
And again, Council President Mandelbaum.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have our first item is a presentation of joint resolution that will be done by the mayor.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
This evening, we have a joint mayor-council resolution regarding Kids to Parks Day in Southfield, declaring that day as May 17th, 2025. And I know we have some people here from Parks and Rec, I believe. Yes, one of our commissioners. I know Ms. Fields is ill this evening. Come on up, please. I'm presenting, you're on the Parks and Rec Board. I'm presenting this to you. This is Kathleen McNellis. I'm sorry, I guess it wasn't communicated to you. Well, I'm sure if Ms. Fields was here, she would have explained this. So, Parks and Rec Department is doing a Kids in Parks Day event on the 17th of May. And this is a national program aimed at getting children outside. As you know, we've seen a shift in how children play. They're on their devices more and more. Used to be in front of television screens, now it's in handheld devices. So this is the first time that Southfield has joined this effort. So whereas the 15th annual Kids in Parks Day on May 17th, 2025 is an organized and has been organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually the third Saturday in May. And whereas the mission of Kids in Park Day is to foster future outdoor enthusiasts and help with developing the next generation of park stewards by encouraging kids in memorable outdoor experiences. Whereas Kids to Parks Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit local parks, public lands, and waters. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and cholesterol. And whereas Kids to Park Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and the outdoors, and whereas Kids to Park Day will recognize the importance of recreating responsibly while enjoying the benefits of the great outdoors. So whereas to celebrate this program, the Southfield Parks and Recreation Department will host a Kids to Parks Day program Saturday, May 17th, 12 to 2 p.m. at the Southfield Municipal Campus. That will include arts, crafts, dancing, to music from a live DJ, inflatable playscapes, games, and more. Exciting activities with the Southfield Police Department, Oakland County Parks and Rec, Early Spark Academy, the Judson Center, and Michigan Department of Health and Human Services will also be on-site with free admission and no registration required. So now therefore be it resolved that we, the mayor and council, city of Southfield, county of Oakland, state of Michigan, do hereby proclaim May 17th, 2025 as Kids to Parks Day in the city of Southfield. So, Mr. President, I'm asking for a approval of this declaration. And I will present it to our Parks and Rec board member, Kathleen McNellis.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I move that council approve the resolution Kids to Park Day for May 17th, 2025.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Banks, supported by Councilwoman Haynes, to approve the joint resolution of Kids to Park Day as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you.
Any further question or comment? Otherwise,
Present this to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Next is our communication portion of the meeting. And as a follow-up to several of the issues that came to us the last week or two, we had a resident who had some issues with dogs not on leashes in specific areas. We're trying to get more information from the resident if she knows where those dogs may be located. But we're also in talks with Parks and Rec, and the police department is actually going to start a campaign about having your dogs and cats, but mostly dogs, licensed in the city, especially as we continue to build the city's dog park and this other dog, the private Barkside that is currently under renovation. So they've created a pamphlet that's being reviewed. They've worked with community relations, but we are working on a campaign to encourage residents to license their dogs. We're trying to educate our residents on our dog ordinances, that they must be leashed when they're in the public. So we are trying to do that. If you do have any concerns, we ask that you do call the animal control officer, or if it's a vicious dog that is running around and you are scared, feel free to call 911 and the police will address it appropriately. We also had resident who had several issues, including speed bumps, the brochure about the speed bumps, how to ask the city to investigate if speed bumps are warranted, was sent. There were also some complaints regarding water over the road. DPW was out. They thought they had the issue fixed, but they didn't. The issue continued, and they were out there, I believe, today, starting to survey the area to figure out a solution for better water drainage. Code enforcement was also sent to that same area. They looked at several issues. Several homes were sent letters about garbage, weeds, tall grass, and miscellaneous other things. And there was also some complaints about there's some construction going on for apartments that are next door to this neighborhood, and code enforcement is aware the apartments were given permission for the ease and use of the machinery to go back and forth through the open fence. Our code enforcement department, it does monitor that area and will continue to monitor it as the project is completed or starts to wrap up. All the fences will be closed off and repaired as needed. That being said, we have a number of speakers for this evening. Again, each speaker will have 3 minutes. We ask that you give respect to each speaker and follow our general rules. which are the Southfield City Council, has established the following rules of procedure for all speakers. No speaker may make personal or impertinent attacks upon any officer, employee, or city council member or other elected official that is unrelated to the manner in which the officer, employee, or city council member or other elected official performs his or her duties. No person shall use abusive or threatening language towards any individual when addressing the city council. Any person who violates this section shall be directed by the presiding officer to be orderly and silent. If a person addressing the council refuses to become silent when so directed, such person may be deemed by the presiding officer to have committed a breach of the peace by disrupting and impeding the orderly conduct of the public meeting of the city council, and may be ordered by the presiding officer to leave the meeting. If the person refuses to leave as directed, the presiding officer may direct any law enforcement officer who is present to escort the violator from the meeting. The council may not provide responses to the public comments during the meeting. If you have provided your contact information when you signed up for public communications, the city will provide a more formal response to you in the near future should it be warranted. Our first speaker is Stacy Jackson.
Good evening, Stacy Jackson, Southfield resident and president of Beechwood Acres Homeowners Association. I'm actually coming here tonight in regards to an association matter. Recently, the old Artie Fields, and many of you may or may not remember Artie Fields from our neighborhood at 22340 Maplewood, that property was recently sold, and that's a great thing in our neighborhood. What is drawing concern is that very tiny, narrow parcel of land that Mr. Fields also owned that was recently acquired by Oakland County and then flipped to an LLC. The concern of our neighborhood is whether or not anyone has done the restrictive covenants in our HOA guidelines. Historically, that narrow piece of property has been deemed non-buildable because there is nothing that can be built there that complements the aesthetics of the existing community. So I came here tonight in hopes of this council and this collective body might help do its due diligence with that community and reach out to Oakland County on their plans on how they sold that parcel to that company and what is the final objective. What particularly are they planning to build in an area so narrow that even in a garage in our neighborhood would fit? So I would like someone to help follow up with that because the parcels were split. The property where the home is has been acquired. That narrow property next to it now has a for sale sign that the county has flipped to an LLC. So I would like for someone to help do the due diligence with that on what they're planning to build. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Keith Harris.
How you doing today? Keith Harris. You know, sometime I would just like to never come here again and just enjoy my retirement. I really hate coming here. And that all boils down to getting the right people on this council so we can live. You know, I'm just confused about fairness. I went to a town hall April the 24th, and it was a very good town hall. But what I did not like, there were protesters there, and everybody had a right to protest. But my question is do everybody have a right to bring their signs in to the building? Now, that's my question. Is it legal? And I'm going to find out, because if it is, I know I could bring 50 protesters in that would love to bring their signs in the building. Or is it some sort of, you know, just absolute favoritism? And then not only that, you know, the town hall was beautiful, but some of the things that were being said in the back, I didn't really like that either. I'm glad I took about 15 pictures, and I had to constantly check this guy because he kept saying, well, the only reason those people vote for Rashida is because they're not educated, or those people, and it was just insulting. And my thing is, this is going to be a hell of an election this year, because not only do we have to find 4 right people to sit on this council, we got a charter committee that I just don't see fit. And I want people in this city to understand this charter is the Bible for the next few years. If this charter doesn't highly consider the residents of the city, they're going to have the worst few years of their lives. And I want to see Southfield residents get more politically educated on the charter, on each and every one of your jobs, what your titles is. Do you run the mayor, or do the mayor run you? We want to know. I want to know all about each candidate running. I want to know where you got your money from. I want to know where you came from, and I'm working on something right now. But this whole thing, Southfield residents gotta wake up. Wake up. Learn your city council and learn what this charter is going to be about, because it will hurt you for the next few years. I don't want to see this charter go to Lansing until the people read it, not so much as the council, but the people.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Leslie Morris.
Good evening, honorable council members. My name is Leslie Morris, and I'm here representing Joyful Noise Early Learning Center. We're located right here at 21551 West 11 Mile Road between Losser and Evergreen. I'm here today because I received a bill in the mail in the amount of $1,000 for a penalty, for not filing my transfer of property. This letter was received on April 10th. I closed on this property on March 13th of 2024, and when I closed on the property, I was not informed that I had to file this paperwork. It was not until I received the letter in the mail from the assessor's office stating that, I needed to pay this $1,000 fine. So at the time when the letter was received, I was out of town, and my office assistant, Mrs. Edwards, she came with me as well. She reached out to me via telephone, and she said, we received this notice. So I said, okay, well, I'll check it out when I get back. So when I got back, I went through my paperwork, my closing documents, and I did find the form, but it was in the middle of all the other forms. I had no idea. This is the first time I've ever purchased a property, a commercial property. So I had no idea that I was supposed to file this form. I came even in July, in August of 2024 to pay the property taxes. And I went over to the assessor's counter and I asked, is there any paperwork or anything that I need to have on file? Because I had been leasing the building for the past 7 years before I purchased it. And I had to file something for my contents of the building inside, my personal belongings like the chairs, tables, and whatnot. So I remembered that I had to do that. So when I went over there and asked them, do I need to do that again? We're still the same tenants. Is there anything else I need to file? I just purchased the building now, and they told me no, there's nothing. If you're still the same tenants, no, you don't need to file anything. So from there, I went on about my way. I've been a citizen of the city of Southfield my entire life. I'm 51. I've been living in Southfield since I was 2 months old. So I went through the whole city of Southfield school system and whatnot. I believe in the city of Southfield. My business, again, is still here. I still reside here in the city of Southfield as well. I'm a property tax payer. If you can check the records, my taxes are all current from my home to my business. I don't play about bills and debts and whatnot. I like to be current. So to know that I'm 3 minutes away from the assessor's office where my business is, there's no way I would have neglected to file this form just right around the corner. and now to get this bill. So I'm asking for leniency in some kind of way, maybe possibly have this form waived. That's my hope and desire. Childcare business is struggling right now. We are rated a 4-star. We strive for excellence here in the city. And again, we're struggling right now. So this $1,000 debt is really hurting us. So again, we're just asking for leniency.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Erlene Edwards. Erlene Edwards? Did you want to?
I'm the office manager.
You have 3 minutes if you'd like.
Okay, thank you so much. Greetings. As Ms. Morris said, that I had received the letter when she was out of town, but also we submitted an email to the council appealing to appeal the $1,000 fee, late fee, for not filing the transfer of property. I spoke with someone from the assessor's office, a gentleman named Chris, who informed me what we needed to do. We proceeded to do that, and we haven't heard anything. I called back to the assessor's office and spoke to one of the clerks there. I was told that Mrs. Chapman would be calling. Ms. Morris, we didn't get a call. I think that was on the 15th. Exactly, I think it was on the 15th of April, somewhere around there. We didn't get a call until today. Ms. Morris received a call today, and the person that called was not very accounting to us regarding the problem. So that's all I wanted to add, because I did speak directly with someone about the problem. And we did file an email for the council to consider reversing the $1,000 fee. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Garland McWilliams.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor, elected officials. So I want to bring their attention, and I've been listening on the news here, and a lot of talk has been about the roadways in our state, and I've brought that up before, and I guess it's supposed to come up with the legislature as far as a vote of funding and everything. And I just want to make sure that we aren't left out, that they remember us, because we really need some work on our main roads, particularly Mount Vernon and Lincoln, and the neighborhood streets. One other thing I'd like to bring up, we talked about speed bumps. There might be a better way of doing this. I know in some neighborhoods you get people speeding through the neighborhood and everything, and speed bumps are one way to, try to slow that down. But for speed bumps, maybe we can put out some signs that says, slow down, police order. We have kids in the neighborhood and everything, and that would be a much cheaper way of getting drivers to slow down. We can try that. Other than speed bumps are expensive. One other thing I like to bring up is the Northland, and we've talked about that before. It's been problematic as far as getting the work done and everything. Maybe we can form a partnership with people who are developing Detroit. Dan Gilbert is doing a phenomenal job of getting it done in Detroit, rebuilding it and everything. And maybe we can get a partnership of some sort with his crew and get that Northland site developed and everything. I like to shop in Southfield. I don't go anyplace else, but we'd like to have that done. and I like to see more citizens' input. This auditorium is, sparse. Maybe one way to get that word out that we need your input, because we have a very diverse community, different needs and everything, and if you don't hear about them, they won't get done. Well, maybe one way would send out a little letter to the citizens of Southfield here. We need your input. Come to the meetings. A number of ways that we can get that word out to people. So, by the way, just one more quick thing. As far as the roadways there, here's a bill I just got from Tire Discount for $252 for one tire I had to replace on one of my cars because of the bad roadways, So I just thought throw that out there. So I'm a little tired today. I've been in the garden all day and everything, but I hope I got my point across. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Greg Keeler.
Greg Keeler, Southfield resident. It was kind of fascinating that when Rashida had the town hall, that people were able to show up that won't show up for a town hall when residents ask for it. It was interesting to hear that we're going to start listening to people at that town hall. I hope you followed through. I hope it wasn't just something you were there doing just so you can get a photo op. I'm glad that you are now answering people at the end. I hope that continues. It doesn't end in November after the election. Now, when Keith was talking, what he talked about with the protesters and everything else, he has pictures. I think we should be able to project that up on the screen. I know we have the technology. I've seen it done. Stacy, when she was talking about the property, I think that should be able to be projected up on the screen. Ms. Hubbs, when she came here and she was talking about her yard, and so you can see just how it's ruined, and you can see phases of it. So these things, if people are talking, I think it would be nice for people to be able to see exactly what they're talking about, not have to imagine, to be able to physically see it. I hope you do follow through on what you stated. You've heard a reason for the town hall. So there should be a town hall on sewers and septics because it is an issue. Should not be something that's bypassed over since you said you are listening. Listen. It's election year. This is what people are asking.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Earl Crum.
Thank you. Good evening to the council, the mayor, the administration, and this entire body. First of all, I'd like to congratulate and appreciate the city council and the administration for voting to approve the Deer Club. It amazed me how individuals come from other cities to vote and speak for what Southfield residents need. They do not clean our yards after the deer has been in and do their business. Neither do they replace the flowers and plants for the residents that the deer eat. So thank you, council, thank you, administration, and thank you for all the work that you did in handling this situation. Because an event was scheduled and Southfield citizens and residents voted for what they wanted. So thank you for doing the deeds for the citizen and the residents. My next issue is the marijuana issue. The weed may be legal in Michigan, but many communities have opted out. That does not mean marijuana is not legal in those cities. It means that the business cannot sell marijuana in their cities. And the last research date that I have is out of 1,773 municipalities in Michigan, meaning cities, villages, and township combined. More than 1,300 have opted out of sales and tax for marijuana. So hopefully in the future, whatever is negative and plays a negative impact on the city of Southfield, I hope that the future council and the individuals in charge will opt out of it. And maybe the reason why some of these cities are voted on a national level to be the best cities to live in, because they opt out of negative business activities in their city. I'm 100% agreeable for businesses that comes into Southfield to service in a positive manner for the city of Southfield, for the state of Michigan, and the county of Oakland. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Trina Scott.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, and the rest of the elected officials. Thank you for addressing the issues that you outlined earlier around the drainage channels that we have in our community, the construction that is happening, and a few other things that you addressed. We still are looking for you to address other issues that we brought up. One is the issue around the constant littering that happens in our community, and the area that we understand that is the responsibility of the city to cut. It seems as if that doesn't get cut on a frequent basis, and therefore trash builds up in there. So my neighbors and I are always picking that trash up. I've asked for littering signs, and when I spoke to someone from the city, they explained to me that if they're not going to pay attention to just throwing trash on the ground, why would they read signs? I don't think that's an adequate question or answer to my question or to our concern. Additionally, I brought pictures of what's happening in our community around this construction. And it's fascinating to me and to my neighbors as I walked around with a petition that we need to get signed for 60% of our neighbors to say that we need to have a study done to know if we need speed bumps or not in our community before someone gets injured, that we don't have a petition coming to us to ask us if it's okay for this fence to be removed, and therefore have construction equipment that doesn't allow for our neighbors to move back and forth. Lastly, I'll say thank you for addressing the issue around the gas station. But if that business was in tune to the community, they would know that it is a need for electric cars. I drive an electric car. My daughter drives an electric car. There's a Tesla dealership that's being built. And so the response that was provided to see if residents want it, I don't know what they're looking at or if they even petitioned to do so. So it feels like some of the things that were responded back to were checking the box as opposed to really truly getting to the brass tacks that are our concerns as neighbors. As you said, Council President, you came to our neighborhood. You see that our neighborhood is well maintained. But the things that are going around our neighborhood do not mirror what we do in terms of maintaining our neighborhood. The vape shops that I also have pictures of that are less than a mile apart continue to pop up in our neighborhood. The restaurants that are fast food restaurants continue to pop up in our neighborhood. As I walked and talked to my neighbors and explained to them that we have a car wash coming to our neighborhood, they said, why would they put a car wash? And I understand your response was 350 feet. That's our only responsibility for businesses to have. But we should do more than that. I work in the city of Detroit, and I know, and I deal with the council there, and they go above and beyond to ask their residents, what do they need, even if it's not in policy? And I expect for us to do the same. I expect for us to get input into the things that are going in our neighborhood, even if we're 360 feet away. I think it's important that we have input of the things that we want in our neighborhood. Lastly, I'll say that 4 gas stations in a quarter of a mile does not make a whole lot of sense. And so I would really appreciate less of the political response back about what policies are, and really coming to our neighborhood and seeing what the citizens really want, and asking businesses to also reach out for that. So I'd like to submit these pictures into the council so everyone has a picture of it, if I can do so. And I also appreciate your attention to my emails that I will continue to send.
Okay, you can give those pictures to the clerk. Our last speaker is Sophia Alfaro.
No, I need copies.
Hi. Hi, City Council, and hi, Mayor. My name is Sophia Faro, and I live at 28143 Marshall Street. And I'm here to talk about why my street needs speed bumps. I see people speed through my neighborhood. They never stop when there is a speed stop sign. I believe that because of the speeding, it is unsafe for the kids on our street. Thank you. 28143. Marshall Street.
Great job.
Thank you. So that concludes our communications. I will try to respond to the ones that I can. I will first respond to Ms. Alfaro, since she bravely came up to speak. Last year, the City Council did put together, as was mentioned earlier, a program for speed bumps, where we do ask the neighbors to petition the city similar to how we ask for if residents would like sidewalks, street lights. We ask that you get 60% of your neighbors to sign a petition, which is in a form that we can send out to you. And that will trigger and allow the city to come out, and first they monitor the traffic, they look at the speeds, they look at a number of different factors, different things that are in the neighborhood that may contribute to the speeding. They look to see if this is something that if they had a police officer come and sit and look, ticket people for a week or two, if that would solve some of the problems, or if there, in fact, there is a need for speed bumps. If there is a need for speed bumps, there is no cost to the residents. This is a city-funded program, but we do need the neighbors who live on the street to agree that they are open to speed bumps, because there is a large cost that the city is putting into it, which is why we ask for that. So we have your email here, and we will send you that information. And it is a good program. I will say from personal experience, speed bumps are not always the only answer. There's actually speed bumps on my street, and unfortunately, as I joke with people, it slowed people from going from 60, now they only go 40 down my residential street. I sit on my porch all the time, and it just amazes me, even with the speed bumps. It doesn't always work, but that's why we have this program where the police will monitor and look at the situation. And they look at a number of other factors. Do you have sidewalks in your neighborhood? Is it a through street? So there's a number of factors that go into it, but then it does get determined what's the proper method to stop the speeders. And it may be speed bumps, it may be other type of traffic calming measures. So, but we will send that to you, and we do appreciate you coming out and letting us know of your concern.
Can I add one other thing? Last year, or 2 years ago, we put in as a pilot speed bumps in 5 neighborhoods where, working with the police department, we had many complaints about, and they were straightaways. Some of them half a mile or a mile long street. And we put these in as kind of testing various types of speed bumps. And believe it or not, there were neighbors that didn't want speed bumps in their neighborhood. They didn't want to slow down. They didn't want to, they just felt that they made noise. So that's why we do a survey, because there were people that we heard from that were opposed to them. So by getting a majority of people on the street, then that helps us move forward. It's hard to tell if you haven't, if this person calls, that person calls, and you don't have a real consensus of whether people on the street really want to have the speed bumps. So that's the reason for the petition.
Thank you. I do have neighbors that, I would probably say 80% of my neighbors wanted the speed bumps, and then you had the 20 who didn't, and the 20 who didn't lost out. But those are also usually the people who enjoyed the speeding. So, but that's why we do ask for a majority of the residents, but we will make sure to get that sent over to you. We had a speaker talked about the property transfer, and I guess I don't know if it's a fine because it was not done within 30 days. I can't speak to that. We'd have to reach out to the city assessor unless, Madam Attorney, are you prepared to answer that?
The only thing I can say is that it is under the General Property Tax Act of Michigan, so the assessor would have more information, so I guess having a conversation with their office, but there is that penalty there's a difference between residential and commercial, and since hers was commercial, that's the $1,000 fee, but it will need to be a conversation with assessing. I'm not sure what they do when that happens, but it is under the General Property Tax Act.
Okay, and our council, we will reach out to the city assessor to get more information and clarity, and we can move forward based on that. Yes?
So I'm not an authority on this item, but I've only purchased residential property. But I'm not sure if a title company has some accountability and/or responsibility in submitting those documents on your behalf. So I'm not sure if you've reached out. I'm not an authority on commercial property, but I know when I went through purchasing several residential properties, the title company had accountability and responsibility to filing certain documents. Not sure if this was one that they hand to you as something that you're to account for, but I would check with them just to see, and I'm not sure if you had a real estate agent, just to follow up with either one of those to see if there's any recourse that they can do on your behalf in parallel to us doing some investigation on our end. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would like to speak on that.
Okay.
With respect to that this is a small business, I'm assuming, and I would like to put forward my concern that we give this business as much remedy as we possibly can, given that it is a small business and that we are friendly toward businesses, and we're especially businesses that are housed by or run by our residents. So I would like to, if there's any remedy, I would like to see it go forward. Thank you.
Okay. No, just a comment. We don't know what legal recourses we have. We had someone talked about road funding in Northland. We are constantly having conversations with Lansing, with our federal partners. As many people, as residents may or may not be aware, Mount Vernon this year between Southfield and Northwestern received $4 million from the state that is going to be under construction this year. That road is desperately needed, as is the other side of Mount Vernon. We are constantly looking for extra dollars for that as well. Lincoln, I drive Lincoln every day. My kids go to school on Lincoln. And we have also, I think last year we did apply for a grant. Unfortunately, we were not successful. And I think we are looking again with our federal partners as well as the state. That is one of our top 3 streets that Lincoln and Mount Vernon, we both ask constantly for additional funding. We did minimize the scope before. We were trying to go from Greenfield all the way until the golf course behind City Hall. This year we asked for Greenfield to Southfield. Some of the street is Lathrop Village as well. I just want to point that out. It does halfway, it turns into Lathrop Village on one side of the street. So we are constantly looking for additional road funding and for those things. As for Northland, they continue to lease up some of the retail. They hope to open some of the residential apartments, I believe, this fall. And they have a couple restaurants that have been leased as well. But the council did ask for a report on Northland, and we hope to have that at one of our next committee of the whole meetings shortly, so we can all understand some of the delays and some of the issues and how we can help them move and progress. Also, the speed signs was mentioned. The police department does have portable speed signs that they can attach to signs within the residential neighborhoods, whether it's a stop sign, a street sign, a speed limit sign, but it's essentially a radar that will start flashing if you go above 25. The police department is in charge of those. They do have several. They are battery operated, so sometimes if you don't see it working, it's just the battery is dead and they just have to replace it. But I will ask Mr. McWilliams if you can email the council specific streets or areas that you're looking for. We will reach out to our chief of police to see if we can get some of those signs placed out there, at least as a caution, as a potential to, hopefully that will get people to slow down. And there's always the traffic calming measures with the speed bumps, if you'd like to try that throughout the neighborhood as well.
Council President, I'd like to add one more thing. You referred to a bill that's in Lansing. The Republicans in control of the House are promoting a bill that would provide more funding for local roads. The Democrats point out that this bill is not new money. They would take it from social service programs. And so, once again, you've got this and that, and we're waiting on more road money. So I just wanted to update you, because I have recently spoken to 2 of our 3 state reps about this bill, with the hopes that we would get more local road money. So that's where it stands right now, and I don't know what's going to happen next at this point.
Councilman Haynes?
I just wanted to speak to the issue of the speed bumps. In my neighborhood, my daughter was out in the middle of the street and she was blowing the leaves, and the resident down the street from us was flying down the street and almost hit her. My husband and a neighbor went to our neighbor and asked him to slow down. They were kind and they were presented themselves very well, and it did stop him from doing that. I think sometimes if we learn to be more neighborly, and even also if you can speak with your homeowners association and get together and maybe go as a group and start talking to some of these neighbors in a kind way sometimes that always helps, and it worked. And it really did work for us because he would speed all the time, and it was very dangerous. I mean, she wasn't, he was going so fast he didn't see her, but she was in the street just to do the leaves, and he came flying. And that conversation was handled in a very professional manner, and I think sometimes if we learn to be more neighborly, we can have it. I'm not putting this on everybody to do so, but sometimes it takes a group, a village, to come together and just start speaking to your neighbors. And I also used to put out a cone myself when my kids were playing, and just asking them to slow down in front of my driveway, not on the street, but in front of my driveway. Sometimes we have to take some things in our own hands the right way and legally to kind of help and remind our neighbors that we want to be safe on our street. It's just a suggestion.
Thank you. We had, Mr. Crum spoke about the marijuana stores that we have in the city and some of the cities around us or around the country that do not allow it. The city took a very conservative approach. We had a moratorium on no marijuana for a very long time. And then we slowly lifted that and we went medical only. And then most recently, when it became more popular and we were losing businesses to other cities in Southfield, we did allow recreational marijuana. We only have 2 stores in the city. We made these zoning laws very restrictive, and we only have 2 stores currently in the city that do sell any type of marijuana. Let me rephrase it, that legally sell any type of marijuana. We have been working with our lobbyist at the state level to have tougher fines on those businesses that are selling illegal marijuana. Right now, I think it's a $500 fine and a slap on the wrist. We are trying to get those increased. So we do take it seriously. We want to make sure that, you know, the businesses that we have are monitored by our police department constantly. They have, our police department can actually access their cameras inside and outside. So it is something that we did not take lightly. We did take a very educated and thorough approach into that. So, you know, it's something that is wanted by the majority of Southfield residents. Similar to a deer call, Southfield residents did vote in the majority to allow recreational marijuana throughout the state. We did have a few comments about a town hall with different protesters bringing signs. I want to point out that that was not a city event. That was an event that our Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib had, that she rented the room in Parks and Rec, and it was a town hall that she had. It was not a city event, so we can't speak about what she does and does not allow in the room. And then lastly, I want to address Ms. Scott. We have been in communication, and the entire council has been apprised on some of the responses that we are getting for you. And we're not just giving you political responses. We are trying to resolve the situation. I did speak with our code enforcement officer in charge of that area, and the grassy area is city-owned property, and she did alert the Department of Public Works, who's supposed to maintain it, that they need to take a better, they need to look after that area more thoroughly. And I think we can, I will ask our Public Works Director, who's sitting next to you, if we can add no littering signs as well, or at least one sign on that property. I think that will definitely be helpful because of the littering and the grass cutting. Littering does get tricky. Usually the place where we find the litter, whether it's a resident or a business front yard, whether it's their litter or not, that's the person who usually gets ticketed and is in charge of cleaning up the litter. So Friday afternoon, as I mentioned to you, code enforcement did go out throughout the neighborhood, found littering, tall grass, weeds, garbage issues throughout the neighborhood. So hopefully with more with more emphasis on some of the code appearances in that area, hopefully we can try to get that cleaned up. The holes in the construction fence, they work that out so they can get the large machinery in and out, but I was told that they will be cleaning all of that up. The other hole in the fence seems to have occurred from a traffic accident, and they are trying to figure out who's responsible to fix that. If it's from the accident, they have the accident report, or is it the owner of the fence? That, unfortunately, sometimes when you have those issues, it can take a while to get a party to come to agree. Even in general, and this is not for your specific issues, but in general with code enforcement, the code officers will go out there and they'll generally, if it's not an emergency, send a letter to the homeowner or the business owner and allow them time to correct their actions. If it doesn't happen, they send a second letter, sometimes a third letter. Sometimes they'll clean it up themselves and then charge the resident. That's usually when we get the complaints, when they code enforcement comes out and cuts grass for residents at usually about $200 a cut. And sometimes things take longer. We have several residents that end up in court with our code officers because they either refuse to take corrective action or they just disagree with our ordinance. So we just ask for your patience because we do allow residents time to correct the issue or the finding that our code officers have, because we don't want to work with our residents. So please be patient during that period. Regarding the EV charging stations, the council did approve the plan to include 2 EV stations, charging stations. I did talk to the planner today about that, and that's when he said, well, they're not building it in their first phase. They want to see what happens, but the infrastructure, all of the electrical wiring is there. I will reach out to the city planner and let him know that there are residents in the neighborhood that would like the chargers there now, and see what he says. I did mention, last week we talked about the vape shops in that neighborhood as well. Those are general retail business shops. They don't have to come to the city council. They are allowed by right. Just like any store that wants to sell something, the vape shops, because they're not selling anything that is illegal or requires a special use from the city, are allowed. And many times, the only time we find out is when there's a ribbon cutting or if there's an issue, or now we get a report from the building department about new businesses that have opened up in the city. So when Mr. McWilliams comes and says, what's going on with this building, we can say, oh, we know what's going on and what's happening. But many of those stores, the vape shops in those areas, did not have to come to the city council or the planning commission because they can operate by right. The 4 gas stations in the quarter mile, Northwestern is a very busy street. You have 2 northbound, 2 southbound, and they're doing very well. In fact, the city planner also mentioned to me today, and he's not here because he unfortunately is not feeling well, but he did tell me that one of the gas station owners who complained when the new gas station was being constructed said, we don't want more gas stations, we don't need it. Actually just had a meeting with him a few weeks ago wanting to tear down part of a shopping center and build another gas station. And he was told that the council has no more appetite for gas stations in that area. There's enough already. But that just shows you sometimes even the business owners, the gas station owner didn't want a new gas station open, but he wants to open a second one. So, but there is enough demand because Northwestern, especially with 696 being closed, is very busy. But even in general, it's very busy, and there is enough demand for those gas stations. But we will continue to monitor that area and make sure that it does get what is needed. The 350 foot rule for public notices, the state actually requires 300 feet. The city does 350 feet as well as any nearby homeowner associations. So the city maintains a list of association presidents and sends a letter to the president of each association that is nearby. Also, if it is a public hearing notice, it does get printed in the Southfield Sun, as well as is listed on the city's website. There is and I can send it to you as well. I apologize, I forgot with all the responses I had, is we have an online planning website that you can look at all the current planning projects that are going through the city as well as have been approved. There is some projects have more detail, some have blueprints, some don't, but I think it's a general idea of what's going on in the city and what's being approved. We do reach out to residents when we do our master plan, when we do a Parks and Rec master plan, a city master plan. We did a sustainable blueprint right now. We do reach out to residents to get their input and their feedback in what citizens and residents want in the city. I am not sure, and I can ask the city planner, when the next city master plan, where they put an online survey on the city's website. They hold forums. They're out at all the city events gathering feedback from residents to see which direction they would like the city to go in. I'm not sure when the next time that is happening. It's usually done every 5 years, but I will reach out to the city planner and let you know as well. I hope I've answered all the questions that we can this evening, and we can move on to the rest of our agenda. Did I miss anything, Council? Okay. We have 2 sets of minutes. I would like to ask that the committee of the whole minutes be pulled. I know that we had several corrections that were sent out last minute. I would like to give time for council to read those minutes, and we will bring them back next week. But we do have the special meeting minutes of March 14th of 24.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that we approve the special meeting minutes of March 14th, 2025?
4.
Support.
That's correct? Okay.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Hicks, supported by Councilwoman Hoag, to approve the special meeting minutes of March 14th, 2024. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Council, we also have, we had one item on our consent agenda. That item is also being pulled. There was some additional information that was sent to the council this afternoon, as well as our purchasing director and our city attorney are working on some information. But again, we hope to bring that back next week with some additional information presented. That takes us to our public hearing. We have one public hearing this evening. It is for a brownfield redevelopment plan and loan from the local brownfield revolving fund for the former Plaza Hotel, 16400 JL Hudson Drive. And are you presenting? All right. Step on up.
Hello, I'm Molly Lalone. I'm the Executive Director for the Southfield Downtown Development Authority. This property, 16400 JL Hudson, is in my district. And Southfield Renewal Corporation, a nonprofit in Southfield, has purchased it. And I just want to talk a little bit in gratitude towards that nonprofit. They purchased it in March, and immediately, before the end of the month, they had repaired the fencing around that property. 2 weeks into owning it, they had cleared out on the site, on the outside of the site, over 2 gigantic dumpsters full of trash. They cleared all of that out of this property. And by the end of April, they had cleared out all of the overgrown brush on the property. So they are really performing as property owners the way we'd like to see property owners behave, and taking care of their property and taking pride in the area that they represent. There's over 375 businesses in the district. We just celebrated National Small Business Week. Everybody can see this property. We have a commercial building on one side of it and a residential area on the other side of it, and the changes are very visible, and I'm so pleased, and I thank them so much. Right now, what you're looking at is a brownfield redevelopment plan for this property, as well as a loan request. And on May 9th, the Southfield Downtown Development Authority passed a motion for a letter of support of the project. And I'd like to read that. I know that's in your packet, but I'll read it aloud into the record, please. Dear honorable members of the Southfield City Council, on behalf of the Southfield Downtown Development Authority Board of Directors, I am writing to express our strong support of the proposed brownfield redevelopment plan and associated loan request for the property located at 16400 J.L. Hudson Drive, formerly known as the Plaza Hotel. This site has remained vacant and functionally obsolete for many years and is a prominent location within Southfield's historic Cornerstone District. The plan presented by the Southfield Community Renewal Corporation outlines a clear path towards reactivating this property by completing eligible activities to evaluate the structural integrity of the building, essential for evaluating its future potential. We understand the plan and loan request are being considered in accordance with Public Act 381 of 1996 as amended. The Southfield DDA supports Southfield Renewal's application for a loan through the local Brownfield Revolving Fund and recognizes the importance of the financial assistance in moving the project forward. Redeveloping this highly visible and underutilized site will have a transformative impact on the district and the broader community. It aligns with our ongoing efforts to stimulate economic development, enhance public safety, and improve the visual and functional appeal of our district. We respectfully urge the City Council to approve the Brownfield redevelopment plan and the loan request, enabling the city to take an important step towards revitalizing this key property and unlocking new opportunities for investment and growth. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration and leadership. Sincerely, Molly Wing-Lalone, the Executive Director. And if you have questions about the details, we do have someone here who can answer those questions.
All right, so I will, do we want to open the public hearing first, and then we'll take any other questions that come up from the public hearing? So this is a public hearing, again, for the Brownfield redevelopment plan and loan from the local Brownfield Revolving Fund for the former Plaza Hotel, 16400 J.L. Hudson Drive. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record. All right, seeing no one, the public hearing is closed. Council, do you have any questions? Okay, then we just need a motion to approve this.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Move that the city attorney is hereby directed to prepare the necessary agreement between the developer of Southfield Community Renewal Corporation for the former Plaza Hotel located at 16400 J.L. Hudson Drive, and that the mayor and city council are hereby authorized to sign said agreement on behalf of the city.
City clerk, you mean?
City clerk, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, city clerk, excuse me.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Councilwoman Binks, supported by Councilman Brightwell, to approve the plan as described in our packet, with the city attorney making sure that everything is in order. Any other questions or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have 3 ordinances to approve. Yes.
I move that we enact ordinance number 1810 for PCZR 25-0001 to conditionally rezone the western 97 feet of the vacant parcel on the eastern side of Southfield Road between Stratford Drive and Silver Maple Street from OS Office Service to B3 General Business.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Banks, to enact ordinance number 1810. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move that we enact ordinance number 1811, PCZR 25-0002, to approve the request of GHG Detroit LLC to conditionally rezone parcel at 27600 Northwestern Highway from RMU Multiple Family High Rise to RS Regional Shopping.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Banks, to enact ordinance number 1811. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move that we enact ordinance number 1812, PZR 25 I think it's PCZR.
No. This is PZR.
PZR, correct, 25-0001, to rezone the parcel at 21375 Telegraph Road from ODD back to industrial, 1 industrial.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Haynes, to enact ordinance number 1812. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move that we approve the travel expense report for Councilwoman Haynes for the MML 2024 convention in Mackinac Island held on September 11th through the 13th, 2024.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Banks, to approve the travel expense of Councilwoman Haynes to attend the MML convention in September of '24. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Since we are up to the council portion of the meeting, before we allow the council members to speak, we just want to give a shout out to Councilwoman Hoag for her birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
With that, we will give you the honors of speaking first.
Oh, well, thank you. I do appreciate that. Because today is my birthday, and I came to work. And I also worked earlier today, too. So, anyway, I don't have much. I just wanted to publicly say that I wished all the mothers within the city of Southfield on this dais that hopefully they had a great Mother's Day on yesterday. I know I did. I hope your spouses all did, that you men gave them great Mother's Day. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Banks?
Thank you. This past weekend, the DDA held a tour of the DDA area, and I found it very interesting, uplifting, and informative, and I'd like to thank our DDA director for putting this tour together, excuse me, of the area, excuse me, and I hope that this is something that continues quarterly throughout the city. That's all. Thank you.
Councilman Hicks.
Also want to say happy birthday, happy Mother's Day, and also happy Jewish American Heritage Month. Nothing else to add.
Thank you. Councilwoman Haynes?
Okay, so let me get started. First, happy birthday to you. And I'd like to send out a special, I'm trying to get my notes together. Congratulations. I think it was 2 weeks ago, we opened up a new Goodwill on 12 Mile in, I think it's Greenfield. There were so many people there. It was very, very amazing. The line was long, long, and they did very well, and I think they're going to do a very good job on that corner. it's so nice to see them there, so congratulations to them. And I didn't get a report from them on how much money they made that day, because I was trying to do like what we did with Costco and see, but I know they did well, so I just want you all to go out and support them. And I think they have a club that you can join called the Blue Club to get further discounts. And just want to point out, they do more than just resell clothing. They have new things there as well. And also they support those with challenges, disability challenges, and things of that nature. It's a lot more than that. And eventually we're going to have them come back and talk to us a lot more about what they're doing. And also today, the Southfield Police Department is on the road to Washington, D.C., so special prayers for them for safe travel. They are going with the color guard. I didn't get all the details, but they are representing the city of Southfield. We are proud to have them to represent us, and let's just hope they do a very good job there and return safely back to their loved ones and to our city. And the final thing I would like to say, a special congratulations to the, I'm trying to get the name right, the Jacqueline and Burton Hutman Mikvah Center. The center celebrated a ribbon cutting yesterday in the Jewish community. It was very, very educational, very beautiful. It's such a nice thing to see something on that corner that supports the women in the Jewish community. And the ladies, Sherry and Marla, the ladies, they did a very good job there, and it's just really nice to have an addition to our community, and just wanted to give them a special shout out and a congratulations for the hard work they did to bring that center to fruition and for their community as well, and also just to be in the city of Southfield. We congratulate them and welcome them. And I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Councilman Brightwell.
Yeah, I just want to thank all the mothers for being mothers, and the young lady that had a birthday today, so I think that covers a little bit of everything. Now, with respect to the Southfield Veterans Commission, years ago started something with the Library of Congress, and that seemed to be the gift that keeps on giving. Just this past weekend, I ran across a family member that thanked me and the Veterans Commission for interviewing their father who's passed away. And in essence, they captured him. That video captured him while he was alive, and they have periodically, the mother told me, they periodically look at that video just to remind the kids and the grandkids what their grandfather was like. And just to let you know, the Library of Congress has we submitted over 300 videos here from Southfield, and they have over thousands and thousands of videos of wartime veterans. And that's a live first-hand interview, a first-hand account of dealing with the military and the war. And some of the best ones that we have down there, Mr. Jefferson from the Tuskegee Airmen, and we have a Mr. Sachel. But I encourage everyone to sort of go through the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. And I've been told that a couple of council members have done it, and people here in this city, they indicated that they do it as part of their relaxation, to just literally find out what's going on with veterans. The other item I want to talk about is for the women veterans, there will be a veterans women veterans baby shower on June 6th at the Dingle VA Hospital downtown Detroit on June 6th. And some of the items that they will be that they've been asking for, and I think they have collected. And obviously, I'm not sure whether first come or first served, but they will have car seats, pack and play, strollers, baby play gyms, and high chairs. So it'll be a baby shower, and at the Dingle from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on January the 6th. It'll be in room 3325, and that's on the 3rd floor, which is the women's clinic. And let me give you a number so that you can call and to find out more about specifically what they will be offering. It's 313-576-3332. That is the VA has really, since I've been involved in this, been over backwards to taking care of women veterans. And I recall here in Southfield, perhaps 10 or 15 years ago, we would put on informational seminars for veterans. And we had a young lady, she wasn't in this, well, she was a veteran that was, she was in her 60s. And she literally went down to the Dingle building downtown and talked to them. And when we put on our seminar, the VA Dingle had a full cadre of females here in Southfield representing veterans, and just to let the women know what the VA is doing to help women veterans. So if you, although you might not be a veteran yourself, if you know someone, might have a daughter or sister or someone who is a veteran, please pass that info on to them. And that's just another way of our country, and especially the Veterans Administration, rewarding and or letting the female veterans know that they are appreciated and the VA definitely cares for them. So with respect to that, and feel free to reach me here at Council at City Hall if you have any questions about anything that I just relayed, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. You know, it's been a long time that there has been this thought that if you have a mental health issue, or you go to a therapist, or you talk to someone, that means there's something wrong with you, but not at all. And you know, there's a lot of resources out there now that if you see someone who may need some help, and it could even be, you know, there's a number of reasons, please reach out and try to get that person some additional help. There's nothing wrong with it. We want to make sure that everyone is doing well, both physically and mentally. So while Councilman Brightwell talked about, you know, getting people some physical help, you also have to make sure that mentally they do well. COVID was not kind to a lot of people. Stuck in their homes, that's really when we found out that there is a shortage of social workers, mental health advocates, and help. So please reach out. There's a number of resources that you can find out there to help people. As a follow-up to some of the comments that were made earlier in the meeting during communications, I just wanted to offer 2 more points. The first is with code enforcement. Code enforcement does work hard, but sometimes, again, you have to let the process work. Just because you give a call and they came out that same day or the next day, it can take sometimes, as was mentioned, we end up in court, the city ends up in court with homeowners, business owners, because they just refuse to correct the situation. But many times they go out, they get a letter, they have 10 days. Please, you know, work with us. Also, as Councilwoman Haynes mentioned, sometimes it's a matter of just going up to your neighbor and saying, hey, you know, I noticed your lawn is kind of long. Is everything okay? Can I help you out? Do you need help finding a place? My son or my daughter will help mow the lawn. In fact, I had that this weekend. I have a neighbor who's every week he is out there with his riding mower. His grass is not that large. I mean, I think he spends 10 seconds on the riding mower, but he is in his 80s. His grass was long. I didn't have his number, but I went to the neighbor who is in touch with him. Unfortunately, he had some health issues. He couldn't do it, but they did arrange, the neighbor arranged for a service to come out and mow his lawn this week. So sometimes you don't know what's going on with your neighbors. It's a good idea to go check on them and offer them help if they need, instead of calling code enforcement, because sometimes you just want to be neighborly and help your neighbors. We're all one big family in Southfield. It was also mentioned about getting input on what residents would like and what residents want to see. I did find on our planning department webpage on the city's website, it does have our Sustainable Southfield 2.0 comprehensive master plan that goes from 2023 to 2028. It is a 300-page document plus additional several hundred pages of appendices that does outline what the city is looking for in the next 5 years and beyond. So I'm assuming that sometime in 2027, in the probably January or February, we will kick off our next set of meetings and special town halls, online voting, and polls for the next master plan. So again, that can be found on the city's website, at the planning department under master plan. With that, I will turn it over to the mayor.
Good evening once again. A couple of things. First of all, you may have noticed that there's no art in the lobby. Shortly, it will be, there'll be a new display. This time, it'll be a series of Chaldean artists. The reception will be held at 6 p.m. on May 22nd, and of course you're all invited. Unfortunately, also that night, May 22nd, our police chief will be in Detroit working or supporting Chiefs Cooking for Kids. This is an annual event for the Youth Connection, which provides services, substance abuse education, training for youth. And this event will be held at the Youth Connections offices on in the former at 300 River Park, River Place in Detroit. That's part of the Park Davis, former Park Davis complex. Southfield resident Grenade Dudley, some of you know her, is the president and CEO of the Youth Connection. And so she's inviting you to participate. I will forward to all of you the invitation from Dr. Dudley. Just also two other reminders that this Friday night is the Vintage Fashion Show at the Skyline Club. Tickets are available. There are still tickets left. This year's event also is featuring our honorary host, who will also be one of the models. That's actress and activist Selma Blair. She will be here coming in on Thursday, staying until Saturday. Selma Blair grew up in Southfield. She has asked to return to her roots. As you may know, she's a champion for multiple sclerosis, having that affliction herself. There's a luncheon at the Westin, fundraising luncheon for MS at noon, and then that evening there's a private meet and greet with Selma Blair at 6, and then the fashion show is at 7 p.m. Again, this is a fundraiser for the Friends of Southfield Public Arts to help pay for the 9 Mile art installation. And then, again, on Saturday is Kids in the Park Day from 12 to 2. And if you can make it, I know that that's also the day that Magnolia has its park cleanup, so I won't be able to make it. We'll be out trimming bushes and raking leaves and spreading mulch. But anyhow, there's quite a bit happening, so if you can show up, it'd be great. Again, tickets for the fashion show are $75, and all proceeds go to our 9 Mile art project. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. City Administrator?
Thank you, Mr. President. For the viewing audience, I just want to let folks know the amount of time staff and council's been putting in on the budget. We've got another evening of budget detail, the very deep dive, and I think it's important that folks realize the amount of time that the council puts in that, as well as the amount of time that staff puts in there. In addition, I want to thank you for your support on the 16400 Jail Hudson's Brownfield project. It made the Cranes publication last week, and it was an interesting read. And the group who will be acquiring it from the Southfield nonprofit, I will tell you their LIHTC application was the top score and from the April 1st funding round, which is, we had suspected that there's been an outstanding team put together on that. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Great. Yes.
I'm sorry, there was one thing I wanted to add. This Saturday, May 17th, is the Rouge River Cleanup. It will be held from 9 to 12 at the Barbarian Woods Nature Preserve that's located at the end of Streamwood Lane, south of 12 Mile, east of Telegraph Road. Volunteers are needed for an invasive plant removal, weeding cleanup. Again, it starts at 9 o'clock. If you're interested, you can contact Brandy at 248-796-4806. They need at least 30 volunteers to clean this area up. Thank you, Council President.
I also wanted to mention that our police chief is cooking at Chief's Cooking for Kids. So if you go, then you get to vote on his cooking, and it's $1 a vote, but you also get to eat what Chief Barron has prepared. So, and again, it's all for a good cause. So various police chiefs from other communities are competing for the best dish.
Okay.
And that's 6 o'clock on the 22nd at 300.
Thank you. All right. Madam Attorney?
Yes, good evening, Council. There was a miscommunication. I did not realize this proposed amendment to the Evening News Association and Post-Newsweek stations was approved under Rule 10 on March 10th. Since that time, of course, planning has reviewed it, and I reviewed it, and so when I was contacted, I think they were looking to get like finalization from legal and planning so they can file it in circuit court. I took it to mean that it hadn't been on the council agenda for approval because it was a committee of the whole, but I was reminded that we did a Rule 10 to approve it. So I'm not requesting any action. Everything is going well. I talked with Terry Crode and of course worked with Tom on this, so I think we are all set, and I think some things may be coming back for council depending on what needs to be approved, but as far as what they presented to council, I have no further requests.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk?
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to say, because we've had a lot of people coming during public comment, speaking about the kind of businesses that are in the city and a proliferation of liquor stores and gas stations or car washes, but working in the clerk's office, we help license incoming businesses, especially pertaining to on-premise consumption of alcoholic beverages and restaurants that want to come here and entrepreneurs that want to come here. And some have voiced being gentrified out of downtown Detroit. And they're coming up here, and they're opening up very viable businesses that will serve our residents beyond the lunch hour. Because we all know that we have everything that serves lunch under the sun, but we kind of are falling short with places for families to go and dine in the evening. So I can say there are 5 places in the works right now that are in process of getting their on-premise liquor licenses approved that are going to be opening, offering us very viable dining choices. So I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar. We have something coming near 10 in Southfield, 12 in Northwestern, our Barkside dog park is coming near 11 Mile in Greenfield. Hideaway Bar, we're working on them, getting them licensed, and they're going to be serving dinner. And of course, we are familiar with Baco. So large and small, look for new exciting options to come and keep your dollar in the city. Let it recirculate and reverberate. And that's the only way other businesses will want to come here. You know, we have a lot of buying power in this city, and we are consumers by far. So dine out in Southfield, support what we have so we can get more. I just wanted to say that. And I know that, and I commend all our council members for the job that they do. It's not self-serving. It's very public focused, but I just want to compliment Councilwoman Haynes. And Councilwoman Haynes brought forth the entrepreneur to one of our last meetings, who had a bakery business. So small and large folks that want to serve us are at the helm, and people that are familiar with economic development, like Councilwoman Haynes, who have that background with helping business come to the city, are very crucial members on this council, as well as everyone, because I know you guys look out for small businesses, large business, and just economic development as a whole. And that's all I wanted to say. And it's garage sale season time. The weather is warming up, so it's time to get rid of our accumulated things. So we have garage sale permits available in the clerk's office. Give us a call, and we'll tell you all the details about securing one, so you can have a garage sale that the city approves of as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Treasurer.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to remind the viewing audience that the deadline to pay up the remaining balances for 2024 water bills is coming due very shortly, by the end of May. If it hasn't been paid, then it will roll over to the summer taxes with an additional interest charge. So to avoid that extra interest charge, please make sure to arrange payment either online, by telephone, or in person. Treasurer's office can take payments from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. And if you have any questions, you can contact the Water Department. Their telephone number is area code 248-796-4850. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything from our building official? All right, thank you. Council, under the schedule portion of our meeting, I just want to keep it on our radar. We can bring this back next week, but if everyone can look at Monday, June 16th, for a joint meeting with the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission, that's a Monday, June 16th. Majority of the Planning Commission said that they are available. If we can be available, we will work out an agenda beforehand, 6 p.m. We don't have a meeting that evening, so we thought that would work. So if there are any concerns, please let me know, but we will put it on our agenda for next week to make a formalized vote if that works for everyone. So anything else to come before the council? Our meeting is adjourned.